Decolonisation is the dismantling of colonialism.
Our people returning to who we truly are, not who Pākehā colonisers think we should be.
Stripping ourselves of the systems that were forced upon us. It's mana motuhake.
Just put this down. Decolonisation means hope. Decolonisation means to uncolonise our minds, our behaviour, our existence. To decolonise, to demystify, to de-alienate ourselves from a Pākehā culture. So colonisation and decolonisation go hand in hand. To understand why we were colonised, how we were colonised, you would then decolonise a people. But they have to all know, not just one of us, not just a couple, not just, the Tūturus. We all as a people need to know and educate ourselves as to the history of colonisation on these shores.
For being passive, this is what we did.
Each iwi has a different story, but there's a similar intent by the coloniser, and that is to get rid of us, to destroy our culture, to get rid of our land. To be colonised is a brutal bastardisation of one's identity. So to decolonise means that we give ourselves hope, to strip away these garments that tell us we are not Māori. To strip away the behaviours where we apologise for being angry at the injustice. We strip away the reasons why there is so much violence amongst our whānau. Decolonise the mind, you will free the people. And we need to still be free.
I want New Zealanders to think about the history that is part of this country that saw the Indigenous culture suppressed and colonised and bent and moulded and oppressed to believe, think, act and behave like them. I want them to understand that it's more about a system, it's more about a wider spectrum of things. Yes, it does boil down to the belief of the individual, but it's reflective of a societal, national, collective approach that supports the advancement of one group of people and negatively impacts on the position of another.
And so colonisation was an attempt by the Commonwealth or the Crown to assimilate us and to subjugate us into a way of living that we didn't know, into their way of living. So knowing that, understanding what colonisation is, that we understand what we need to do to decol ourselves. And so all of us are on the scale of colonisation. I don't think there's anybody out there that can say that they haven't got 1 ounce of colonisation running through here, and the actions that we do. So we're held by a Pākehā construct of how we see our days, how we see our times, and we always see that they take our whenua, they take our awa, they take our moana. One thing they cannot take from us is our wairua, is our heart and our soul. Decolonisation must start with you. reconnection to Te Ao Māori isn't just a one-faceted approach. Must go back to your marae, must go back to your mountain, kia pure e te hau. Some of them don't know that. To know that you may not know your maunga, but your maunga knows you. You may not know your awa, but your awa knows you. You may not know your marae, but your marae knows you. You may not know your whakapapa, but your whakapapa knows you. You might not know your reo, but your reo knows you. You are good enough, because our tipuna made it so. And that all those things are waiting for you when you're ready. And we've got to get innovative and creative about how we reconnect, because connection is going to be the power.
A lot of the time when people discuss decolonisation, they always refer to it alongside or it parallels with this thing called post-colonialism. And I'm still going, are we in the post part? Has it finished? And I'm still going, I think we're still being colonised, and it's just the forever continuous journey for our people, not just Māori, all Indigenous cultures, to fight just to survive. When we look at it within depth, I think unless you're in that space of having to decolonise a space or an environment, people won't care or don't care because it doesn't affect them directly. And that's why I guess Te Ao Pākehā or Te Ao Hurihuri has a really conflict with Indigenous cultures, because we're always about decolonising spaces, because for them they're thinking that whole sentiment of you need to get over it now, or we've been trying to get over it for over 150 years. It's the continuous journey in both being colonised and trying to decolonise society. But I guess for Te Ao Māori, we're moving into that space where we're moving out of survival and into thriving.
I teach rangatiratanga, teach them tikanga Māori how to utilise it. I had to live it every day, focusing on everything our tupuna have taught is so relevant today. Learning our karakia, learning all the concepts of kaitiakitanga, manaakitanga, what are they really about? How do you practice them? So simple things that a lot of our people have been distracted by when they've been colonised. So they're too busy trying to survive in the colonised world that we've lost those practices. So that's what we try and bring back, and we teach them through our noho marae, through our one-day wānanga, with our students at the wānanga Aotearoa, and also when I go home to my iwi as well, I set up workshops and we teach all those. Don't think about the word decolonising. Think of the word rangatira, and stand like a rangatira. And we are all rangatira, we just need to learn how to practice that.
I think you could probably go further than decolonisation, which is still a little bit passive. We actually need to be not just decolonial, but anti-colonial. People are very empathetic and sympathetic to the story of decolonisation and to the story of Māori rights struggles, up until the point when it comes to giving up power, ceding space, or material sacrifice. It's not just about looking at what's happened in the past and rectifying that. It's about looking at our systems that are in place and the way in which we wield power. But you also need to be real about the fact that we are living in a colonised reality that requires active and purposeful dismantlement. And in order to confront those systems, you need to have a deliberately decolonial and anti-colonial lens and approach in order to recognise and identify and dismantle those systems across our spheres. And our survival will depend on it.